So ladies, I have another devotion for you here, and I title this one, The Truth of the Gospel, or you could call it The Truth of the Good News. After I released my other devotion titled The Glospel, I continued to refine perhaps some of my thinking as to what I believe to be a common error in, I think, a fair number of evangelical churches in this country and perhaps even abroad. That common error, I think, is that most people believe that the gospel, that the good news is simply that Christ died on the cross in order, and you have to listen, to enable us as believers to fulfill the law while we live. And when we believe that stuff, number one, it's not what the Bible teaches, and number two, as a result, it's really just another form of salvation by works. The truth of the matter is what Paul said, which is that Christ is the fulfillment of the law. He fulfilled the law through his death on the cross, precisely because as believers, we can't fulfill the law. That's what the gospel is. It's resting in the reality that 2,000 years ago in time, and of course for all time, past, present, and future, outside of time, God fulfilled all those things on our behalf. So it's not us and Christ, it's all Christ. And that's why Ephesians 2, 8, and 9 states the following, that it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and that this is not of yourself, it's the gift of God, not by works. How often do I have to say this? So that no man may boast. That's the gospel. It's not some combination of us and God. It's all God. It's all Christ. And when we begin to understand that, and I suppose this is the second part of my devotion, it's during that time that we really begin to take up the command that Paul gives in Galatians 6:2, which is to bear one another's burdens. And we begin to do that in a more successful way because we begin to realize what for most of us is very unsettling, and maybe for some of us even altogether unthinkable, that we are people with a chronic problem of sin. And as a result, we are, in fact, and I know we forget this conveniently, a church of sinners. So you have to have a healthy realization of your continuing need for Christ due to your continual sinful nature if you're going to be a true resting place for other people. Because unless you realize that, which is painful, and it's found, I think, in brokenness and devastation, we bear one another's burdens. Why? Because we've been there and are there. And so we can be long-suffering then with people. We can be there for them in their darkest times, and we can also forgive them when they slip up, just as we do, right? That's part of the Lord's Prayer. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. That's really what it's all about. Anyway, just additional food for thought on the gospel. I hope you ladies get this, okay? God bless you both.